This week, the internet had a lot to say. 3 stories, 3 verdicts. Let's run it back. First up, Amazon got caught scraping millions of YouTube videos to train its Nova Real AI. Bots with rotating IPs, bypassing every protection YouTube had in place. YouTubers filed a class action. The internet called it a data heist. 45% outraged, 35% amused, 20% concerned. Next, Meta spent $14.3 billion on its AI pivot, rebuilt everything around Muse Spark. Then, a Meta exec told Bloomberg they still can't compete with ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. The internet's verdict? $14 billion fumble, 52% unimpressed, 30% amused, 18% concerned. And the biggest story of the week, Florida's Attorney General launched a formal investigation into OpenAI because ChatGPT allegedly helped plan a mass shooting. That one deserves the full breakdown. Here's what happened. In April 2025, a 20-year-old student named Phoenix Eichner walked into the student union at Florida State University and opened fire. 2 people were killed, 6 were injured. Court documents reveal he had over 200 messages with ChatGPT before the attack. The conversations were disturbing. Eichner asked ChatGPT what the busiest time at the FSU Student Union was. He asked how a country would react to a campus shooting. And 3 minutes before firing his first shot, he asked the chatbot how to take the safety off a shotgun. ChatGPT answered, then offered to tailor the answer if he had a different model. This wasn't the first time. 8 months earlier, OpenAI's automated systems had flagged a different user, an 18-year-old in British Columbia named Jesse Van Rootselaar. The system caught conversations describing scenarios involving gun violence. Around a dozen OpenAI employees debated whether to call the police. Leadership said no. The conversations didn't meet their threshold for a credible and imminent threat. They banned the account and moved on. In February 2026, Van Rootselaar killed 8 people in a mass shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, including 5 children. So when the FSU chat logs surfaced in April 2026, people were furious. An attorney for one victim's family said ChatGPT did everything except pull the trigger. OpenAI says they identified the FSU shooter's account after the attack and shared information with law enforcement. But 12 employees had already flagged the Tumbler Ridge shooter months before that attack happened. The legal debate is massive. Attorney Ryan Hobbs plans to sue OpenAI on behalf of the Morales family. The theory is negligence and products liability. Florida's AG wants answers about data practices and national security. U.S. Congressman Jimmy Patronis is calling for the end of Section 230 protections entirely. But legal experts say it's complicated. Section 230 shields platforms from liability for third-party content, and there's no federal law requiring AI companies to report threats to police. OpenAI says it has to balance safety with user privacy. Being too aggressive with police referrals could create unintended harm. Here's what makes this case different. OpenAI wasn't a passive bystander. Their own systems flagged these conversations. They reviewed them. They made a judgment call. They banned the accounts. They just didn't call the police. Legal scholars are comparing it to the Tarasov case from 1976, where a therapist who learns a patient plans to kill someone has a duty to warn. If OpenAI actively monitors conversations and identifies danger, do they have the same duty? OpenAI has since updated its safety protocols. The company says that under its new rules, the Tumbler Ridge shooter's account would now be referred to law enforcement. They've brought in mental health and behavioral experts. They've loosened the criteria for what counts as an imminent threat. But critics say that's damage control after 2 mass shootings, not leadership. The internet is deeply split. Some say, blame the tool and you'll never fix the person. Others say, 12 people knew and nobody picked up a phone. That's not a policy failure, that's a moral one. And some point out that you can find the same information on Google without anyone flagging it at all. The BuzzCheck verdict on the ChatGPT FSU investigation? Knew and did nothing. 48% outraged. 28% skeptical. 24% alarmed. The Internet wants answers. And this time, so does a state attorney general with subpoena power. See more on our channel.